Friends, for our mission theme, we are going to talk today about the roles of business. Wow, that is maybe sounding for you like a long way in the future because you're still feeling your heart, and if there's the union love augmenting and starting to share, and then you can maybe find forms to share it in. But at a certain point, it starts to maybe become important to you later on to start to support yourself and your endeavors with your heart sharing. And you can support yourself by getting clear and executing business structures. And it may sound very business-like, which sometimes to people sound like opposite to spirituality, but that doesn't need to be so. The idea of business is that you structure yourself and that these structures help you to help people, to share the love in a way that makes it possible for you to help more people than one. And, have a life outside of that too, in which you know that you have, some time to spend with these people and other time not. That's already a structure. Structure your time. Some time spent with your mission, with clients or people you share it with, however you call them, and sometime not, because you take care of yourself and your family and your private life. That's already the start of the structuring, very easy. So it means that you start to support yourself in all ways possible to really do it. And there's a lot that can be learned there. It's a whole science in itself. And I love teaching that, by the way. So if you feel like that, I do pass on holistic business structures, which are fit for someone that works alone or with their union as the person, quote unquote, right, that does it in an independent way. And that's the business structures. Yes. So yeah, if you want to learn them, you're very welcome. But today we're going to talk about one very fun aspect of this. And I hope I can bring something across of that, because there's a lot to say about it. And I will actually provide you with a blog in the comments below as a pinned comment, and also in the box that unfolds, the information box below. So there are articles of me on my blog about this, and there you can read a lot more that I can speak in this video. But here we go. I think it's a lot of fun to talk about roles, very fundamental aspects of ordering and structuring yourself in mission with business structures. And the roles, they are important, and here they are. So this is your business. 3 roles. And this is also a role that is important relative to your business, but it stands a little bit on itself. That is why the dotted line is here. But it has a relationship with your business. So yeah, business it is. And, they have names. So here we go. What do you need in the direction of roles to have a business structure that works? You need a visionary. And a visionary is the person or the part of yourself, because this is important. These people can signify, these dots can signify people or parts of yourself, because you could embody it all yourself as well. But still then, it is important to know what the roles are, because it structures you so much better. You just start to know what to do. And you start to realize what elements of business should be brought together to have something functioning. The visionary is someone or a part of you that we need. And that is the person or the part of you that knows where we're going. They know what it is really about. They also know what the future brings, what the big vision for the future is, what the big societal vision is or spiritual vision is that your whole thing is about. And they might be dreamers or artist-like because they really have the big ideas, the big content of the idea that it's really about. Why do you have this whole business and mission that is playing out in business structures? Why is it here? The visionary knows it and has connection with it and steers from that inner wisdom. And we also have the marketeer, the first M, so we have another M. And that person or part of yourself is the one that knows how to share with people, how to share the message that maybe is in the core very much conceived here. But this one, the marketeer, knows how to do marketing. So how to share it with everyone, how to talk about it, how to share it on social media, on YouTube videos, how to make people enthusiastic about it. That part of you that needs to maybe learn social media to bring your mission across. And we have here the other M, and that is the manager. And a manager as a person or part of yourself is the one that needs to have everything in schedules or in like points, in like numbers, in like, okay, so this person was made enthusiastic by the marketeer about the message and they need to be helped. And the manager knows to put the name and the address of that person in writing and make a list of who all needs to be helped. And they schedule the agenda to make sure that everyone gets helped in the course of the coming week or as quickly as possible, etc., etc., etc. This is a very important position because if we don't have the manager, nothing gets really done. Or we just forget that we had someone that we needed to help next week because we didn't manage the appointments, etc. Now, that's an entire business. And you need to have these functions and or people no matter what you sell. So the whole topic that it is really about, maybe it's about twin flame coaching, you know, that is another layer. Let's say this is the base layer, and then on top of that, we also need to place the entire thing about twin flame coaching and the method and what that is about and what not. Because this visionary, yeah, they may know everything about twin flame coaching, but they mostly know, that is what's meant with visionary here, they mostly know where this project or business or mission that we're organizing and structuring here, they know what that should go towards and where that came from. But you may need another layer of, you know, what it is actually about, twin flame coaching. Well, and all the content that comes from that one, that's another layer on top of it. Now, we haven't actually spoken about the most important thing about a project or a business on the basis of your mission yet. Do you know what it is? Do you know what the most important thing is? That was not yet in my talk. Put it in the comments. And now, spoiler alert, I will tell it to you. In the middle of this, in this empty space, should be an S. Do you know it now? What it needs to be? It is the S. And the S is for sales. Everyone, or all parts of you, so you, needs to be grouped around the S of sales. And sales can sound very unspiritual. People of spiritual nature, so to speak, can be very scared of that word. But it just means that you let people sign up for what you can give them and ask energy in return in the form of money for them receiving what you have to give. But there need to come this moment, this point at which the business is done. They have signed up. They have said yes. And that is the sales moment, and it needs to happen. And everyone should take part in sales. That is how you build a freestanding, autonomous, entrepreneurial business structure that helps your twin flame mission. Now, you can also have the C, and they're actually not part of your business, but they help you. And the C stands for the coach, the business coach. It could be me, could be someone. And they help you get this in order and help you move through processes to get the S that you want, because that is the life force energy, the flow of energy that you need in your business to make it work. The coach helps you reach goals there and of course knows everything about these roles and much more, because this is only one out of maybe 12 or something. I can't really recollect at this exact moment. Topics that are about business structures, all right? But this is a very fundamental one and I think very much fun. I do have a quiz that makes you find out if you are the visionary, the marketeer, or the manager, if you have that more in yourself naturally, or if you have more like the coach inside of you. And I will put the link to that quiz in the description box below and in the pinned comment too, because that's a lot of fun. Like in 4 minutes or so, you will learn a lot more about your natural inclinations and if they fit more with the manager, the marketeer, or the visionary, or the coach even. Because it helps, you know, if you have someone that has a natural inclination to be more like a marketeer, then make them have that role, right? For instance, if you work with 3 people that are equal business partners in an entrepreneurial, freestanding is what that means, organizational structure. And if you do it yourself, you know, let's say this is what you want to do all yourself, or you need to do it yourself because you don't have anyone else, then it's still important to know if you are really visionary attuned. Because maybe you start to understand that you're really not having a manager inside of you. So you need to find a solution to get the management thing going nevertheless, because otherwise no working business. You need to make appointments and schedule them and whatnot, right? Otherwise nothing happens. So if you can't do that yourself, you get an indication who you might need to help you, or what you need to develop in yourself to be able to make things work, right? Even though this is a model with 3 maybe people potentially, or all in you, but let's say 3 people that are equal business partners in this model, a freestanding business, it can be still the case that there is a person that took the initiative of the whole thing. And that is the one that has the first, maybe logically, actually, naturally, organically, the first choice of, who am I? Can I fulfill all 3 roles? Maybe not. Maybe I need this one, the marketeer. And see if someone can be attracted in that role there that has a natural inclination to have that role, right? That would be very helpful. But there could be one that is the one that took the initiative of the whole process. And I think you should then also, you know, start off with if you're the initiative taker, your possibilities within these roles. And search for people that fulfill the other ones. Or again, learn more to do it yourself in some sort of way. Or pay someone to do it. But then you still have to lead that process. You know, when you would let someone do the management thing with pay, then as a service, then you would still need to overview that process. So you still need to know something about it. Because we're talking now about 3 equal business partners, and so you don't pay them. They're all here contributing to sales in the middle, the S in the middle. And then the eventual revenue needs to be split in a way that you all agree with. And if this is all yourself and you lack one skill set, maybe you can learn it or pay someone to do it as a service, but that is of course not your business partner in this. Never start to take just any business partner, or however you want to call it, mission partner. They would need to really first be vetted by you thoroughly before you would even think about taking that one on. It's nice when you're friends, but that's not necessarily helpful. And there could also be, I do have a model for like a sort of a contract, but it's more like you both pronounce, or you pronounce, I don't know, to take each other on as testing each other out as business partner within certain ideas that come with it. And you put that on paper. That can be a good way to start that off, to sort that out further in practice, which I would really recommend. And that model letter, the model of the letter, that's all, and all these ideas are in my business book as well. I will also leave the link to my business book below in the comments and in the description box, because that is just actually like a 1.5 year business course individually, brought that I could sell for thousands, brought back into one book for one book's price. So maybe that's interesting for you. The business coach, very interesting. They can be attracted from another place. And then they're also independent, that they can really advise you in a way that is helping you because they're independent. So, yeah, this is a whole story. And I want to show you something that happens when you start to go on the twin flame journey to harmonious twin flame union, towards learning to be standing in your mission. And for me, what happened to me, because I think it brings more insight to you, towards how does this work when you become a spiritual teacher, and what does that say about our relationship, or how does it work? I don't know, like a deeper spiritual level of this same schedule that I showed on the paper. When you really become in the realm of becoming a spiritual teacher. All right, so what happened to me was, I worked like this for a decade, and I did these myself. It had a lot of problems when I started to do things with other people. And that never really worked out. And that is, I guess, what happens a lot of the time. And it's also actually not strange and in a sense good, because you need to learn more about yourself. You yourself need to learn all the things in these roles, right? To learn more about the whole process in itself. And I was always too quick to start some collaboration, and that didn't work out. And also because like the layer on top of it, what was really the whole content of what it was truly about, was not something that other people actually understood or mastered. Because it was this deep spiritual content actually that this whole structure was for and about. And I just actually did not share that with these other people. And that was like a mistake of myself, like a misjudgment of myself in a sense, and like a miscommunication that I, started to undo in a decade of time. Because I always got to like, but this is not right. Because Divine Mother asks me on this layer on top of it to share her tools and her truth and her spiritual life and her spiritual love. And that's actually what I'm doing here. But these other people never actually, they weren't part of that calling. And that never worked. And it always felt as if I was used, or as if it all came into an atmosphere that wasn't conducive for sharing that thing that it was about anymore. And I need to stop that. And that was just very strange. But, I overcame that. Yeah, what more did I want to say about that? I did have a business coach, by the way. Yeah. But at that time, nobody really understood what I really stood for. Well, harmonious twin flame union, the result of ascension, gold consciousness. That's what it's really about. But I had a business coach that would say that that's all a little bit vague nonsense and didn't exist. So that also didn't fit. And eventually we splitted ways as well. That took a long time as well. And it was very good because I learned so much about how to potentially structure things. Again, of which this is only a beginning. But when I went deeper in my spiritual topic that was placed on top of it, that it was truly about the connection with Divine Mother, making come true your harmonious twin flame union and whatnot, and sinking deeper in being actually a spiritual teacher of that. This eventually brought me into a different situation, because I started to move into being the teacher of my own business structure, the coach of myself, the spiritual teacher. This whole thing, the whole structure for me started to function on a level that was completely transformed into the spiritual version of itself, into the ascended version of itself, into the version of itself that vibrated with harmonious twin flame union, going towards gold consciousness, in the future of harmonious twin flame union. And I started to be only a spiritual teacher. And this was still sort of functioning, but it was not about that anymore. And I was not trying with my ego personality to push this in any way, shape, or form. Like the pushing or the manipulation maybe went off of it to such a degree, like the complete degree, that I was only this. I was only a spiritual teacher, not even this, but maybe on another level. This whole story, what I told, was sort of gone. And I was only the spiritual teacher. That was the whole focus. That was everything that was left. The rest disappeared. But then, even though the rest disappeared for me, I still wanted to help people as spiritual teachers. So, in fact, I sort of resurrected these and they started to function again. Doing everything myself because there was no one else. Being the teacher. Knowing that the only thing that is important is the teacher. So I'm just only a divine teacher here, but something needs to be done. And I started to resurrect these functions in myself to be able to do it. So that's how I came to you, right? Because I resurrected the marketeer that is talking to you via YouTube videos, etc. But I would not go back to the earlier story of these roles anymore. For me, I'm only the spiritual teacher that stands here in an ascended way. And there might come people that actually help me. But they would do it for the spiritual teacher that is the boss of it all. So this is how I personally transcended the whole model. Maybe that's just interesting for you to know. And as that, and maybe one day I get help too. And as that, I become the leader of a movement where you could also become a spiritual or creation coach, helping with twin flame union, when you become accredited for it, etc. And that is what is going to be possible from these deeper movements that I personally made. When I started out, I was very much the visionary, because I had the ideas. I was having the vision and I was the artist, right? Mostly. Oh, my crazy ideas and all that stuff. And I also could do this, but in a way, in that time, I was also like beyond shy. But I thought I needed to step over that to do it nevertheless. And that was a little bit of a difficulty, although I do have some sort of a teachership inside of me, right? That does come forward. For me, the manager, there is a side of me that can really order very well. But I know very well it's not about that. But I have tasted in my life of over control, which is like a manager going overboard, and also maybe under control. And I try to bring that into balance over the years. Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. So I guess I arrived in a place where everything balanced out and I went beyond the model. I don't know, just maybe interesting for you to know how these things work. Do the quiz. What is your type that you feel inclined to more according to the quiz? Put it in a comment below. Are you the manager, the marketeer, or the visionary? Or maybe you are the coach, knowing what can be made better in the processes that you perceive with other people that come to you for advice. Yeah, let me know. So much fun to learn more about yourself. And yes, eventually, you see that already in the quiz and in the outcomes a little bit. Eventually, I did equate this kind of entrance of the roles into the topic of mission building with business structures. I did equate those 4 roles with parts of the 9-point energy system that I have conceived of for you to support twin flame development energetically in meditations, in healings, etc. And I have equated these 4 roles with the 4 most important, prominent energy points of the 9-point energy system for twin flames. And that is also what you will see in the quiz, because you get an outcome, and I have equated the visionary, when that's your outcome, with the energy point of 0.8. And I have equated the marketeer with 0.4 in the belly in front. And I have equated the manager with the heart, structuring with love. And I have equated the coach with your foundation, energy point 2, in your what you're sitting on and your legs and feet. Yeah. Because I felt that was a good equation, and that is how I integrated the business roles of mission into the 9-point energy field of energetically supporting your twin flame union. How about that? Everything connects back eventually, and I hope that really helps with mission too. So we can even do meditations on this, and you could for certainly too. My meditations at this moment are mostly done in our Facebook group, and you will find the way to that also below as a link. That will be fun. I hope this helped. I hope this was enlightening for you, and I will see you again in another mission video. And don't forget that upcoming is in the first weekend of July of 2024, our Twin Flame Mission Weekend, in which you can go really deep with what that is for you, in your heart, the true vibration of your mission in your union, and then also learning more about structuring yourself to support yourself a little bit too, but mostly about doing the inner work to get to know your heart in mission, where that love is going to flow in your case, in your union. So that link is also below to learn more about the Twin Flame Mission Weekend. I will see you soon in the Twin Flame Mission Weekend or in the next video that I will put here in a couple of seconds, because that will be very good to watch right now. Love from Petra.